Just thought I'd go through the process of creating a video, some video content from a blog post. Just might be a handy way of reusing your content, sweating your assets. So I'm using Descript, and I just thought I'd take you through the process. What we've got here is this is the page you get to when you go to do a new composition. You're given various options, but for this, we're just going to start writing because we're basing it on a blog post. Now, I've written the blog post already, or rather, Claude wrote the blog post already, but that's another story. And just going to go to start writing. Click that. You get presented with this page, an untitled document. This here is what format your final video is going to be in. We can go into that later. And obviously, we've got no scripts in there. So what I'm going to do is just cut and paste a blog post that I've got. First, I'm going to do the title. So the title of this blog post is this: The Coming AI Copyright Quagmire Who Owns Creative Works in the Age of Algorithms. And then what I'm going to do is get the whole body of the blog post. And I'm going to pop this in here where it says start writing. So I could just write this out manually, but I'm just going to paste it in. And as you'll see, there we go. It puts this thing up here called speaker, and there's all the text. It's blue at the moment, which means I'm in writing mode. So I'm generating new words, new audio. This one says we're going to try and use it in my voice. So what you can do on Descript, I'll have to do another thing about this, is you can train it on your voice. So it tries to sound like you. It's not bad, to be honest. So I have under here, I have Martin as a voice. So as soon as I pick Martin, something very interesting starts to happen. Because that's a voice it knows, and you'll see down here, there's just text, but there isn't actually any audio that we can see. So if we just give it a little bit of time, it will start to generate. Here we go. It started to generate. You can see it's generating this purely from the text. We're going to have a quick listen to this. So you can just click anywhere and then hit play. And let's have a listen. The Coming AI Copyright Quagmire Who Owns Creative Works in the Age of Algorithms. The rise of AI-generated art, music and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works. As these technologies improve in leaps and bounds, legal frameworks lag far behind. Okay, so that's my AI voice. The other thing you can do is add moods to these voices. I've recorded an advertising style and a super excited style. Let's see what this sounds like with Martin super excited. What it'll be doing now is changing stuff out. It'll leave the old audio in there until it's generated this new one. And you get this little thing here downloading, so that means that it's starting to replace everything. And you can see these bits in grey, it's replacing everything with the new style, Martin's super excited. And let's have a listen to me super excited. The Coming AI Copyright Quagmire Who Owns Creative Works in the Age of Algorithms. The rise of AI-generated art, music and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works. So it's not perfect, but it's not bad. What I'm going to do for the purposes of this is, because I haven't properly trained my voice yet, I'm going to go, they do have some built-in voices. So you see here, stock video voices. And I'm going to go with Malcolm. As far as I can tell, they're all American. You can preview them.
Life is like a camera.
So you get...
Life is like a camera.
Yeah.
Life is like a camera.
Preview different
Life
ones.
is like a camera.
Oh, you know what? Let's go for...
Life is like a camera.
Let's go for Nancy. So if I literally just change the speaker to Nancy, now it's going to go through all of this and replace it with Nancy's voice. Now, these are models I imagine they've trained themselves, so they're going to be better than mine. I probably need to spend more time training my voice. Here we go. Here it comes. So let's have a listen to Nancy.
The Coming AI Copyright Quagmire Who Owns Creative Works in the Age of Algorithms. The rise of AI-generated art, music and media raises profound questions about copyright.
Great. And then, so what I'm going to do is, you can see I've cut and pasted the title in twice here. The title's here, the title of the document, but then it's also, Nancy is also reading the title. I don't think I want that. And this is the main thing about how Descript works, is you edit the text. You can edit this down here, but you edit the text to edit it. So I'm just going to delete that, and you'll see it's highlighted down the bottom here. If I delete that, great. It's just got rid of that, and it's got rid of that in audio now.
The rise of AI-generated art.
So that's that working. So what Descript is really good at doing is creating subtitles, either from transcriptions that it's made or just from what you're typing in. So if I just, you can do this in many ways, but I can literally just click here, and you see this little plus sign. It brings me up loads of different options. So the first one I'm going to do is I want to put in some captions. So I'm going to click on captions, and now we'll see. So I'm going to hit play.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works. As these technologies improve in leaps and bounds,
so on this right hand side you can change everything. So we're on captions, and then it's got under style here, classic. I'm going to change it to karaoke, and you'll see now it's slightly nicer. It's
legal
highlighted.
Frameworks lag far behind.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to resize this box and move it to the center, and you can see it gives you guides to the center. I'm going to pick a better font, so I'm going to go for this, Babas. And I'm going to change the font size, so let's say something like 120. So this is making it more like it for me. And I'm going to expand it out so it shows 2 lines. There we go. In fact, let's make it. Okay, so then let's have a go again from the beginning.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works.
Cool. So I can change this further. So if I want to change the outline color, I can just go and easily change the outline color, and that will have changed it. I can change the interior color, so it's white at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to, let's say, a yellow. I'm going to change this to a yellow, but whilst I'm going to have that, I'm going to change the inside to black.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works.
The other option you've got is you can select your custom colours. So if you look here, you can have future words. So words that I haven't said yet or it hasn't read yet. You can then decide what colour you want those. So I am going to go for that yellow, but I'm just going to drop down the opacity a little bit.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound...
I really like that. Okay, so now we're just going to add another thing in. So I can just come here again, and I'll be able to add in a progress bar. So add in a progress bar, and it does this.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative work.
Now this feels pretty standard. Again, you can customize this like you can customize everything else. So I can change the color to our yellow again, tie it all in. I can also change the size of this quite easily. You can manually type these out in layout if you want. So let's say, at the moment my width and my height are linked, so I'm going to unlink them. I'm going to have my height at 50 and my width, I don't know, I'm just going to drag it out to fit this way. Okay, so now I've got a nice little progress bar running across the bottom there. Now it counts down right to left there. You can do this the opposite way. You see this start and end? So if I have start at 0 and end at 100, it will now fill up as it's going, like more of a traditional sort of YouTube duration counter. There is another version of the progress bar, so I'm going to add another one in. So here is progress bar. So I'm just going to change this to a ring. I'm going to make it bigger so it surrounds my text. I want to put my text inside, so I can go back to my captions now. I've just selected the captions layer, and I can make this smaller. Okay, I quite like the size of the text, I just don't like the area that it's in, so I'm just going to make this here, and yeah, I quite like that, so let's just make these a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's just have a look at what that does.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works.
So you can see there the progress bar is working its way through. Again, I can change the design style of this a little bit more, and I'm going to take the progress circle, should I say. I'm going to take the thickness down. I like it to be really thin, so maybe 6 pixels. And again, to keep the colour going, I'm going to select the colour there. So there I have this. It's looking pretty cool to me. Okay, a couple of other things you can add in. So I'm going to add in, so people, if they haven't got the volume up, knows that there is something happening. I'm going to get a waveform, and I can add a waveform in. So now if I play this...
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works.
Now that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to put it up in the center. Now you can see this is white, and it's distracting from my text. I also feel like I want to keep it in the bounds of the circle. I'm not sure if that's right or not, but let's try and make it so it's not obscuring my text. So if I right-click the layer that it's on, waveform, layer order and center back, it now underneath my text. It's still not quite exactly as I'd like it because you can't see what the hell's going on. I'm going to go to my line style, and I'm just going to take the opacity right the way down, so you still get a hint of it, but it's not distracting. So now we've got this.
AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works.
Okay, it's still looking a bit weird on my future text, so I'm just going to change my caption style just to help that. So I'm going to change my future text. Instead of having it with some opacity difference, I'm just going to make it darker and solid so that the waveform doesn't interrupt it. Same kind of effect, but it means the waveform won't interrupt it. So now we've got this.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works.
Okay, so now I'm just going to add in a couple more things. You can just add in a project title. If I just put in a title, that's another captions layer. And instead of captions, I'm just going to say composition name. So that's generated the composition name there. So I can bring down the scale of that quite easily. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I might just have to do a little bit of arrangement here to make it work. So I'm going to have to bring this down a little bit, and I'm just going to bring my original captions down a little bit, and my waveform down to match. Okay, so now we've got this, and this headline is generated by this up here. If I was to change this to BI, or whatever I've written there, you see it changes there. So let's change that back. And the last thing I'm going to add, which I think is useful, is a little countdown timer. So I'm going to come down here and you'll see, I think it's a timer, live text. So if I just do a timer, and you've got settings here. So type countdown is what I want. And I want to go to the end. You can put markers in, so it just times to the next marker, but I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to change my layout, so go dead center and bring the size up a little bit. I might just stick to the same sort of text. So there's that. And now we have this.
The rise of AI-generated art, music, and media raises profound questions about copyright and ownership of creative works.
And that's not bad as far as I'm concerned. Then you can just export it and use it wherever you like. So that is quickly generating some video content from a blog post quite quickly and simply inside Descript. There are other things which probably go through in more detail in another video. I know particularly in this one it has trouble with the idea of VO. I think it says VO, so let's just have a listen.
Music, VO work, and more unlocks.
So you have to watch out for things like that where maybe the model doesn't know the word you're trying to say. So VO is quite industry specific. So if I change that to voiceover work, it'll now just take a little bit of time, and you'll see because it already knows that this is Nancy, it's going to go on, it's going to create the words voiceover where VO was. It's just done that there, and now that should read better.
Music, voiceover work, and more unlocks new potential business model.
Yeah, so that's just little things to watch out for, but it does know things like IP, so...
Blatantly steal IP, but...
So it does know that, but it's worth obviously having a listen. And then you can just export it, just quickly go through the export settings. Weirdly, they've got publish here. I think they really want you to publish to different platforms. I haven't got into that too much, but if you can export files, if you're familiar with exporting files at all, you'll be familiar with all of these. But just quickly set the settings that I think I want from this. I want to export the current composition, yep. And my resolution, I actually just want to be 1080p. Quality, medium. I imagine these are different bitrate settings, but I've gone with the default medium. Got some audio settings. I think it's good to normalize your volume to -14 LUFS. I won't go into loudness, but -14 is good for online, so that's where this is going. Metadata you can fill out, and I haven't gone through most of the metadata inside Descript, but I'll probably do that on the platform that I post this on, so I'm not going to do that now. I won't go into every single export option there is, because there are a lot inside Descript. But to simply export this video, just click export. I've set up a little test folder and I'm just going to export it, and you'll see it'll give you a countdown, which isn't taking long at all. So that is it, how to generate yourself a video out of a blog post if you want.